Well, Shana Tova to you. So special to have people here. And I'm hoping, is our live stream living right now? Great. I can't see that. Okay. Anyway, welcome everybody who's joining us virtually. We miss you. We miss having you here in person, but we feel your presence with us, and we have a nice group of about 15 in the room, in case you're just sort of wondering what's going on, and we're going to do our best to sort of create a big sound and ring in the new year as community. We're going to begin with a song that I hope you know and love, Return Again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. I invite my partner clergy, Eric, up to lead us in a reading that will set the tone for our first service of the new year.
Creation is a kind of prayer. It's page 11 or XI in the beginning of the book. It is not you alone or we or those others who pray. All things pray. All things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray, the earth prays, every creature and every living thing prays. In all life there is longing. Creation is itself but a longing, a kind of prayer to the Almighty. What are the clouds, the rising and setting of the sun, the soft radiance of the moon, and the gentleness of the night? What are the flashes of the human mind and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the outpouring of boundless longing for God.
Thank you, Eric. Please open your books to page 9, and we're going to begin with an original composition of Matovu, composed by Cantor Phil Barron at Valley Beth Shalom in the Valley. Matovu halecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Va'ani berov chastecha, ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך. מה טוב ואוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. ואני ברוב חסדך, ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך. אדוני אהבתי מאוד ביתך, ומקום משכן כבודך. ואני אשתחווה ואברכה לפני אדוני עושי. מה טוב אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. ואני ברוב חסדך, ואני ברוב חסדך אבוא ביתך. יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די. We are going to read responsively with Eric on page 11 as we greet a new year.
Eternal God, as the new year begins, we have come together to pray as a congregation, yet each of us is strangely solitary in your presence.
Each of us comes before you with special hopes and dreams. Each of us has personal worries and concerns.
Each of us has a prayer no one else can utter. Each of us brings praise no one else can offer.
Each of us feels joy no one else can share. Each of us has regrets which others cannot know.
And so we pray. If we are weary, give us strength. If we are discouraged, give us hope.
If we have forgotten how to pray, remind us. If we have been careless of time, forgive us.
If our hearts have been chilled by indifference, warm them with your mercy and inspire us with the glowing spirit of this holy night.
Amen.
Amen.
I invite you to rise for the call to prayer, the Baruch Hu, on page 18. This is East. I think I've figured that out. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. You may be seated. Please read with me responsively on page 19. Praised are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, whose word brings on the dusk of evening.
Your wisdom opens the gates of dawn. Your understanding regulates time and seasons.
The stars above follow their appointed rounds in response to your divine will.
You create day and night. You alternate darkness and light.
You remove the day and bring on the night. You separate one from the other.
We call you Lord of heavenly hosts. You are our living God.
May you rule over us as you rule over nature. Praised are you, O Lord, who brings the evening dusk. Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzivaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimoch aleinu leolam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv, Aravim,
Amen.
We continue with Ahavat Olam on page 20. Some of you may recognize this from Shabbat. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shachveinu u'v'kumenu, Nasiach b'chukecha, V'nishmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nehege yomam v'layla. Ki heim chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, Uvahem nehege yomam v'layla, v'yahavatecha al tasir mimenu li'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch Shemo.
Oh, hey, Lamo, Israel. So I want to invite you to each take a deep breath, and you at home, we're going to say Shema. And this Shema is done in a special nusach, a special musical motif, just for the evening of high holidays. And I'll give you a hint. It goes like this. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Just so you know, I prepped you, but here we go. We'll sing together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shoftecha u'v'kulmecha u'kshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha and I'm going to give you all just a moment to complete the recitation of the Shema on your own, pages 24 to 27. I invite you all, hello, I invite you all to turn to page 848 as Elisheva and Eric lead us in a beautiful reading that feels very connected to the essence of the Shema. It's in the way in the back of the book, and it's called Listen.
Judaism begins with the commandment, Hear, O Israel. But what does it really mean to hear?
The person who attends a concert while thinking of other matters hears, but does not really hear.
The person who walks amid the songs of birds, thinking only of what will be served for dinner, hears, but does not really hear.
The person who listens to the words of a friend or mate or child and does not catch the note of urgency, notice me, help me, care about me, hears, but does not really hear.
The person who stifles the sound of conscience, saying, I have done enough already, hears, but does not really hear.
The person who listens to the rabbi's sermon and thinks that someone else is being addressed, hears, but does not really hear.
The person who hears the shofar sound and does not sense its call to change, hears, but does not really hear.
As the new year begins, O Lord, strengthen our ability to hear.
May we hear the music of the world and the infant's cry and the lover's sigh.
May we hear the call for help of the lonely soul and the sound of the breaking heart.
May we hear the words of our friends and also their unspoken pleas and dreams.
May we hear within ourselves the yearnings that are struggling for expression.
May we hear you, O God, for only if we hear you do we have the right to hope that you will hear us.
Hear our prayers we offer to you on this day, O God, and help us to hear them too.
Thank you both. We continue on page 28 in the middle. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe uvnei Yisrael lechanu shir B'simcha rabba v'yamru chula. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. No rotehilot osvei velen. Malachutecha rovanecha. Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Ze Eli anu v'yamru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. V'nemar kifada Adonai et Yaakov uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch Shemo.
Gal Yisrael. Amen. We continue with the Hashkivenu prayer. We'll start in Hebrew and then read together in English. We are on page 30. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shelomecha v'taknenu b'yetz hatova milfanecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim v'hoshienu leman shemecha v'hagen b'adenu v'haser me'aleinu. Please read with me responsively on 31. Help us, O God, to lie down in peace and awaken us to life on the morrow.
Be guided by your good counsel and thus find shelter in your tent of peace.
Shield us, we pray, against our foes, against plague, destruction, and sorrow.
Strengthen us against the evil forces which abound on every side.
May we always sense your care, for you are our merciful sovereign.
Guard us always and everywhere. Bless us with life and peace.
Praise to you, O God of peace, whose love is always with us.
Who shelters your people Israel and protects Jerusalem in love.
Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch Shemo.
Haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'yakol amo Yisrael v'ya Yerushalayim Thank you. I invite you to rise on page 33 for Tika'u Vachodesh Shofar. Sound the shofar on the new moon at the time appointed for our new year. Its observance is a law for Israel ordained by the God of Jacob. And this is actually Psalm 81. This is taken from the Psalm for Thursday. Tikeu v'chodesh shofar b'kesel yom chagenu ki chuk leYisrael hu mishpat leElohei Yaakov. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah V'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen Yesh Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alom u'la'amei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei de'kudashah Berichu la'ela li'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran b'yalma v'imru Amen. The silent Amidah for the Ma'ariv service for Rosh Hashana begins on page 36 and goes all the way to page 46. There are some lovely English readings both here and in the back, and there will be some music to sort of just usher us into our prayers. page 50, Kaddish Shalem. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayedechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'yizman kariv v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach.
La'olam olam e'amaya. Yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha.
Richu.
Liela, liela, mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yalma v'yimru.
Amen.
Titkabel tzolot hon uvot hon dechol Yisrael, kodam v'hon divishmaya v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shlom harav min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huyaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to introduce our darshanit, our speaker this evening, Erev Rav, Rabbi-to-be Elisheva Hurwitz.
Good evening. Take my place on the bima among you here in person and out where you find yourselves as we enter into this 5782. It's an honor to be here tonight. And even though I've been planning to be here for quite a while to join the collective, over the past few weeks, I felt uncertain that I would actually make it here. Now, can you hear me? In and out. Let's try to get this so you can hear me, because I am actually here, and what a shame it would be to have come all this way and you wouldn't be able to hear me. How's that? No, you lost me. All right. All right, if I don't touch it, I'm going to put the... Yeah? You'll let me know if I go out and you've lost me. That it's actually part of the plan, right? The in and out thing, just to make sure you're listening. Well, what I was going to say is I actually really haven't been sure that I was going to make it with the Delta variant and with everything. I've heard... Right, great. So I've heard myself saying lately that I feel like I am building sandcastles, that I set something up and then a wave comes and melts it all away. Have any of you had that feeling lately? Yeah, I see some nods, some hands. So I'll give you an example in my life. My 9-year-old son started 4th grade in August, in person, in public school. Unlike 3rd grade, which was spent on Zoom in our living room at his desk. So he's in school, and every day I just pray that it will stay safe and fine. And I signed him up for a bunch of after-school programs like judo and magic and hip-hop. The week we were supposed to begin the after-school programs, we got a notice that it was postponed by a month. And then last week we were notified that all the district after-school plans are canceled. Sandcastles, wave upon wave. And what am I going to do? I mean, I'm a rabbinical student, and it just so happens that all my classes are in the afternoons when my son is supposed to be in programming. But this is Erev Rosh Hashana, and you didn't come here to hear me complain. So the truth is, I'm not complaining. I'm witnessing. I'm witnessing, and I'm really trying to lean into this time when making plans feel difficult. You may have heard the phrase, man tracht und Gott lacht. Humans plan and God laughs. Well, Rosh Hashana is a time of renewal and a time when I imagine we could all use a little hope. We could all use a little hope because there are still fires raging across this state, and there are hurricanes hitting friends and families on the East Coast because the Afghani refugees are now seeking shelter here after 20 years of a war that didn't win their independence. We could use hope because there is so much going on in the world around us that many of us feel like we don't have a lot of control. One of the best teachings I've read about this time suggested that the pandemic is a gift. The pandemic is a gift. Whereas we may think that we are in control of our lives, the truth is it's an illusion. And we've never actually been in control. We just think we are. Now, if any of you have ever been to a 12-step program, you would know that the first step is to admit that we are powerless. And the second step is to turn over to a power greater than us to restore our sanity. So where do I turn to find hope? I've turned to the wisdom of ancestors and sages, and tonight I want to bring you the words of Rabbi Israel Salanter, the founder of the Musar movement, who in the 19th century said this: "When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world, but I found it was difficult to change the world. So I tried to change my country. When I found I couldn't change my country, I began to focus on my town. However, I discovered that I couldn't change my town, and so as I grew older, I tried to change my family. Now, as an old man, I realize the only thing I can change is myself. I've come to recognize that if long ago I had started with myself, then I could have made an impact on my family. And my family and I could have made an impact on our town. And that, in turn, could have changed the country. And indeed, we could all have changed the world. So how might we improve our lives this year? How might each of us make a change, a teshuvah, a return? How might we fortify ourselves and recommit to being our best selves? I've also turned to poets for help. The Irish poet John O'Donohue wrote, "This is the time to be slow. Lie low to the wall until the bitter weather passes. Try as best you can not to let the wire brush of doubt scrape from your heart all sense of yourself and your hesitant light. If you remain generous, time will come good, and you will find your feet again on the pastures of promise, where the air will be kind and blushed with new beginning." Well, here we are at a new beginning. And really, to all of you who showed up, we did it. It is a big deal on this Rosh Hashanah to be here, tuned in, or in the room. It's a big deal to get to this day. We have come to this point in the Jewish year where we look over our deeds. We review our actions. We see if we have measured up on the scale of good and bad. Will our actions change the balance of our lives? Moses Maimonides teaches that that balance of our lives also changes the balance of the world. Now, do my actions really make much of an impact on the world? Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks answers this saying, few statements are more at odds with the way the world seems to us most of the time. Each of us knows there is only one of us, and there are 7 billion others in the world today. What conceivable difference can we make? We are no more than a wave in the ocean, a grain of sand on the seashore, dust on the surface of infinity. It is inconceivable that with one act we could change the trajectory of our life, let alone humanity as a whole. The Torah tells us yes. Yes, it is possible. Each of us is made in the image of God, that is, divine, creative, abundant, powerful. Each of us has the opportunity, like Abraham, to hear a call that directs us on a path of blessing. Each of us has the power to show up as best we are able. I began this Devar with a story of uncertainty and with the feeling that my plans were like sandcastles. My family has made so many plans that we had to cancel. Our entire pace has changed. We've cut corners, we've opened corners, and despite all of the change, we are so blessed and lucky. You tuning in right now are blessed and lucky. I try not to take it for granted. And truly, I want to give back. Sometimes it feels hard during the pandemic to safely and meaningfully contribute and to make a difference. And yet I know that calling a friend or a family member, waving to a neighbor across the street, or bringing flowers to my son's teacher, each of these small acts brings connection and hope. Let's admit it, this is a weird year. You with me? And this might actually even be sort of a weird drosh to go with the weird year, but I hope that here I am bringing you a little bit of hope. I hope that this drosh gives you, first of all, that it connects us. We who do not yet know each other are on this journey together and connected. And wherever you are at this time, may you feel connected and uplifted. May we lift each other up, whether in person or gathering virtually. I'll end this Devar with another poem that has really carried and anchored me for the past few days, over these days and weeks. This is a poem written by Rabbi Rachel Barenblatt, also known as the Velveteen Rabbi. She calls it Anew. And I will say I did consider maybe my drosh would be only this poem. Ha. Here's the thing. The year, can you hear me? All right. Here's the thing. The year begins anew, even in the worst of times. The leaves will turn and fall, and then they'll grow again. And sometimes we're afraid, and we can't know what choice to make to keep anyone safe. Uncertainty's a bear. All we can do is seek out sweetness everywhere we may and work to fix the brokenness that we find. The good news is we're not in this alone. We'll help each other hope when light seems dim and lift the sparks that darker days reveal. We'll love each other fiercely, and in the end, there is no greater work than we can do. We who survive will help each other heal. May each of us find the strength and courage to do small acts that will change us for the better, and thereby, my friends, change the world. L'Shana Tova, may you be sealed for a sweet new year.
invite you to rise for the Rosh Hashana Kiddush. Before I do that, I'm going to light the candles because we still can. So hold off. You can still stay standing. I would normally, I think when we did this in the past, I invited people to come join me. But because of our social distancing, you'll all join me as we light together from a distance. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel yom hazikaron. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. I meant to do that earlier, but good Yontif, everybody. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, v'romamanu mikol lashon, v'kiddishanu b'mitzvotav, v'hatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'yahava, et yom hazikaron hazeh, yom truah, mikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'hanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, u'devarecha emet, v'kayam lad. Baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael, v'yom hazikaron. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. We remain standing for Aleinu on page 58. Aleinu lishabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kamishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim mishtachavim umonim livnei melech Mafei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim V'Yosei Haaretz, U'Moshav Yikaro B'Shamayim Imal, U'Shchina Tuzo, Begove Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efes Zulato, Kakatuv B'Torato, V'yadata Hayom B'Hashevota El Levavecha, Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim, B'Shamayim Imal, V'Ya'aretz Mitachat Einod. Einod, Al Kein L'Gavelech Adonai Eloheinu, L'Rot Mehei Rabbi Tiferet Uzecha, L'Ha'avir Geluli Min Ha'aretz, V'Ha'elilim Karot Yikaretun, L'Takain Olam B'Malchut Shaddai V'Chol V'nei V'Asar Yiku V'Shmecha, L'Havnot Elecha Kol Rishei Haaretz Yakiru V'Yedu Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ki L'cha Tifra Kol Berach Tishava, V'Lashon Lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu. Ki Malchut Shelcha hi, U'lo Me'atim Loch B'Chavod, Kakatuv B'Toratecha, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed, V'Nemar, V'Haya Adonai, Le'melech al kol ha'aretz, V'yom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'Shemo seated. Before we do Mourner's Kaddish, I wanted to read an English translation of Psalm 27. The one in this book I don't love, so I'm using it from a different machzor. And then Jason and I are going to sing a fragment of a beautiful setting of one of the verses. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I dread? When evildoers draw near to devour me, when foes threaten, they stumble and fall. Though armies be arrayed against me, I have no fear. Though wars threaten, I remain steadfast in my faith. One thing I ask of the Lord, for this I yearn, to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to pray in his sanctuary, to behold the Lord's beauty. God will hide me in his shrine, safe from peril. God will shelter me. He will put me beyond the reach of disaster. He will raise my head above my enemies about me. I will bring him offerings with shouts of joy. I will sing. I will chant praise to the Lord. O Lord, hear my voice when I call. Be gracious and answer me. It is you that I seek, says my heart. It is your presence that I crave, God. Hide not your presence from me. Reject not your servant. You, God, are my help. Do not desert me. Forsake me not, my God of deliverance. Though my father and my mother leave me, the Lord will gather me in and will care for me. Teach me your way, God. Guide me on the right path to confound those who mock me. Deceivers have risen against me, men and women who breathe out violence. Abandon me not to the will of my foes, for mine is the faith that I surely will see the Lord's goodness in the land of the living. Hope in the Lord and be strong. Take courage and hope in the Lord. So this is Achat Sha'alti. Achat sha'alti me'ed Adonai אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה שאתה אבקש. שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי כל ימי חיי, שבתי בבית אדוני, שבתי כל ימי חיי, לחזות בנועם אדוני, ולבקר בהיכלו, לחזות בנועם אדוני, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש. אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש.
For those who are in mourning or observing a yort site, it's the time in our service where you have the opportunity to honor those whom have passed with Kaddish Yatom, page 64. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divarach v'rutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayeichon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulamei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal. Shemed Kudisha Barichu La'ela La'ela Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tush Bechata V'nechemata Damiran V'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imrumav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen.
Amen.
May their memory be a continued blessing.
Eric. So just a few announcements before we close with the classic Yigdal that actually originated in France. I don't think it was originally a high holiday Yigdal, but it sort of became the American high holiday Yigdal. But I recall learning it's a French tune. I want to thank all of you for coming. That was very special. You made this holiday for us. We didn't know if anyone was going to show up, and you showed up, which was beautiful. I hope some of you will be able to come tomorrow. Two things. If you think that you're going to be watching some of the services at home and would like to take a machzor with you, just let Jackie know. I lost track of a lot of machzors last year, so I just want to know who has what. We'll figure out how to get it back from you at another time if you want to do that. So Jackie will be happy to take your name, and you can take a book with you. Hopefully you will be able to come back for some of tomorrow or some of Wednesday, and of course for Yom Kippur. I want to say thank you to these extraordinary musicians, Jason Fetty and Ron Levy. I think it may be the best kept secret in Orange County that we actually have the most extraordinary musical team. And so, you know, you can share with others, but you guys are just so beautiful and kind and talented and elevate the holidays for all of us. So thank you. And I want to say, first of all, also thank you to Elisheva for being with us for Rosh Hashana and for her beautiful Rosh, and for Eric for all the ways that he has been my friend and supported me in all of my ritual endeavors for the last many, many years. And may we, Eric, continue to grow together in enriching Jewish life for lots of people. So that's very exciting to be together with Eric. And I want to say thank you to Jackie Mentor, who has made all of this, you know, possible. She's behind the scenes, but when you see her, just let her know how much we appreciate her work and presence. And we're thanking you, Jackie. And also to Patty Klein, who is sort of the chief cook and bottle washer and mayor and everything of Temple Isaiah. She's president of the board and president of everything, and she has also made it possible for us to use this beautiful facility. It's Temple Isaiah's very special relationship with Harbor Christian that allowed us to be here tonight for all of the holidays. So we are grateful to Patty and Temple Isaiah for partnering with us on these high holidays. And I also just want to thank Lauren, who I don't think can hear me, but she is also sort of there at the ready. Services tomorrow begin at 9 o'clock. And we are, even if nobody is here, we're going to start at the downbeat. And the good news is if you joined us online, unlike, you know, if there was no online services and nobody was here, we'd feel kind of sad. But we're going to assume that hundreds of people are watching us online, and we're going to give it our all, no matter who's in the room. And we're so grateful that you joined us tonight. We hope that this service was the beginning of a sweet and meaningful, healthy and productive year for all of you. So 9 o'clock tomorrow, after services, we are going to, there'll be pause, bring a snack, bring lunch if you'd like. We're going to, at 1:45, gather and walk to the back bay to do Tashlich at 2 o'clock. And Rabbi Peter Levy, my dear friend, is going to be leading that little hike/Tashlich service. So there you go. But it'll be great to have you join us. Services tomorrow will not be short. They will probably end about 1:30. I have to do full disclosure. So, you know, come early, leave early, come late, stay. It's up to you. It's all good. And it'll all be beautiful. I don't think I'm missing anything. So I do want to honor the members of our board who are here. So I want to say thank you to Esther Wright for being with us tonight, and to Robin Gurian for being with us, and Scott Spitzer. We really appreciate you and the commitment you have to the collaborative. And thank you. And Justin and Taylor, who are doing our sound and our video. Thank you. I'm not used to doing that, so thank you so much. You did a beautiful job, and we look forward to getting to know you better throughout the holidays. And you're going to learn a lot about the Jewish people in the next few weeks. And I hope that's interesting. So we're going to conclude with Yigdal on page 68. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimsa v'yenet el metziuto echad v'yen yachid ke'yihudo ne'elam v'gam ein sof li'achduto ein lo demut haguf v'yein o guf lo Melech Chesed Kemifalo Notei LeRosh Hara Yerishato Yishlach Lekezamim Meshichenu Liftot Mechakeketz Yeshuato Meitim Yechayel Berov Fasto Baruch Adeyat Shem Tehilato Meitim Yechayel Berov Fasto Baruch Adeyat Shem Tehilato. We have some great programs coming up and ongoing at the Collaborative. I know you saw a lot of them here. There's more. One of the things that's not up here is there's a beautiful class on the book of Daniel with Rabbi David Lazar. We're in the middle of it, but it's going to continue through October and November. So that's something you can join. And there's a couple of really cool film discussions and some theater things coming up. So stay tuned. Good Yontif, everybody. Ketiva v'chatima l'shana tova tikatevu. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.